We're back on the record in 14-1432. Mr. Jones does appear in custody. He's represented by Ms. Smith, and also Mr. Colvin, Mr. Rubenstein, and Mr. Wade are both here for the people. We're outside the presence of our jury. Anything before I invite our jury back in? Mr. Wade?
Nothing from us,
Mr. Colvin?
No, sir.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and invite our jury back in. Thank you. Please be seated. For the record, our jury has joined us back in the court. Welcome back. The people's next witness, please.
Your Honor, the people would call Julie Jones to the stand, please.
Thank you. Just be careful, this black cord there. Thanks. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you. And if you have a seat in the green chair by the microphone, please. Mr. Colvin.
Your Honor, the defense is requesting the jury be instructed to proceed to the
Sorry, I think the microphone is the wrong way for us. Thanks.
The defense is requesting the instruction related to dogs at this time.
Mr. Wade, do you have an objection?
No objection, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you're instructed as follows. The rule in Colorado is that dog tracking evidence must be supported by corroborating evidence, and that standing alone, it is insufficient for a criminal conviction. Therefore, such evidence must be viewed with caution. It must be considered with all other testimony in the case. And in the absence of some other evidence of guilt, you may not convict Mr. Jones on the basis of the dog tracking evidence alone. Thank you. You can proceed, Mr. Wade.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Would you state your name, please, and spell your last name for the record?
Julie R. Jones, Jones.
And where do you live, Ms. Jones?
I live in Brewer, Maine.
What do you do for a living?
Right now, I am unemployed, and I am just doing my work with my dog full-time, as needed.
So you mentioned you work with your dog. Is that primarily a volunteer position for you?
Yes, it is.
Okay, but you're doing that at this point full-time?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you volunteer for a particular organization?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
It's VK9 Scent Pacific Search and Recovery.
And can we refer to that as VK9 as we go through this?
Yes.
Just to keep it shorter?
Yes.
How long have you been are you a dog handler for VK9?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been a dog handler for them?
I started out with them at about 2004.
Okay. What led you into that field?
It started back in 1982 when I met my now husband, who was a canine officer, a police canine officer. I got interested then, helped him work with his dog, doing various tracking and hiding in buildings, etc. That led me to an interest, and I started my own in March of 1994.
What training do you have to become a dog handler?
Have gone to many seminars, many conferences, working with other teams, working with teammates, that sort of work.
When you have a dog that you're handling, do you both you and the dog go through some of those trainings?
Yes, we do.
Talk to me a little bit about what that entails.
The first large training that I went to was at the National Police Bloodhound Association training. That's actually for people who have the powers, officers who have the powers to arrest. I was able to go down with my husband, who handled my dog for the first time, and they allowed me to go through all of their book training, and they're talking about trials and all of that while my husband was handling the dog. They noticed that afterwards, they noticed that he was having a hard time handling the dog and being able to read the dog, and they knew the dog was primarily mine, so they had me step in and continue working for the rest of the week with that dog. That enabled me the following year, still with no powers to arrest, they allowed me to come down and do the whole course all by myself with my bloodhound.
How many seminars and trainings have you been to with your dogs up to about August of 2007?
As we did lose my records, as we know, I had probably been to probably a dozen that were very structured, as opposed to one that might last just a day.
Okay. And did you have other ones, though, that lasted just a day?
Yes, I had many that lasted days, overnight.
Were some of those trainings designed to get you and your dog certified in certain areas?
Yes, they were working in cadaver fields, also trailing and air scent, which are just different disciplines.
How many dogs have you handled over the years you've been doing this?
Started out with a bloodhound, which I had for 10 years. I started with another bloodhound, and she was almost ready for certification but had cancer, so I ended up getting Quincy, which is the dog that I had when I came here to Grand Junction. And I am now starting another puppy, but I still have Quincy.
Okay. So you still have Quincy, the dog you used in this case?
Yes, he still is working.
Okay. I want to take you back to August of 2007. Did you become involved in the investigation of the disappearance of Paige Bergfeld?
Yes, I did.
And we've heard a little bit about this, but how did your group become involved in that?
Our group leader at the time was Margie Spencer. She saw it and thought that this would be a good case for us to work on, so she made contact with, I believe it was the Sheriff's Department, and to let them know of our availability and what we do.
Okay. As a result of that call, did you guys come out to Grand Junction to help in the investigation?
Yes, we received a return call from the Sheriff's Department, and then we did come.
At the time of that call, how many dogs were you handling?
I had just my one.
Okay. And that was Quincy?
Yes.
What breed is Quincy?
Quincy is a Labrador Retriever.
Okay. And why did you choose Quincy? Is there a particular reason why you did?
Labradors are known for being able to do more than just one function. A bloodhound usually does trailing and doesn't do other disciplines. And I have been taught to train a bloodhound, so when I trained my Labrador, I expected no less than, the work that I trained with the bloodhound. So I wanted to do other disciplines as well.
Have you and Quincy trained together as you described earlier?
Yes.
Okay. And have you and Quincy been certified in any particular areas?
Yes, we are certified in trailing, air scent work or area search work, articles and evidence, and cadaver, which includes on the water and also on land. Oh, building searches as well.
Okay. We've heard a little bit about this, but what is a certification in trailing? What does that mean?
That means at that particular time when I went for the certification that my dog completed the task to whatever the standard is of the certification.
Okay. And is that something that you train the dog to do, is trailing?
Yes, yes.
And what does that consist of, the training?
That is for the dog to be able to trail where the person went, follow the skin cells and the lipids, everything that falls off from the body, to go from point A to B where the person is gone.
Okay. You also said that Quincy was certified in cadaver searches?
Yes.
And what is the certification and what is the training that you need for that?
The training for that, you would, for us, we are fortunate to actually have pieces of the cadaver, and that is done by, burial, doing anything where there could be a cadaver, leaving the cadaver material out for a long portion, long period of time, actually putting it in the water and going out in a boat and trying to locate that. Anything that you can think of that a cadaver, where a cadaver could be, we try to do that.
Okay. And with the training of the dog, does that necessarily include the training of you as the handler?
Yes.
So when you get certified, are you certified as a team?
Yes, we are.
And would you consider yourself then an expert in the areas of man trailing and cadaver searches?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd offer Ms. Jones as an expert in the areas of man trailing and cadaver scent work with her dog Quincy, and would ask that she be allowed to express opinions in that area.
Mr. Colvin.
May I have what your
Yes, sir.
of objection? Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
So if I understand your testimony, your full-time occupation at this point is volunteering for VK9, is that
Yes, it
correct?
is.
And you are not being paid for working with your dogs, right?
That is correct.
And you've never been employed in a capacity where you were paid for working with dogs?
That is
true?
correct.
If I understand correctly, you've taken some college classes in the past in law enforcement,
Yes, right after high school.
but you have never taken any type of formal education in the fields of dog handling, animal behavior, anything along those lines. Is that correct?
I am not aware of any dog handling classes per se, but no, I've never had any animal behaviorist trainings or anything of that nature.
And in this case, you've testified previously, correct?
Yes,
And in this case, you were qualified as an expert one time, correct?
that is correct.
And you testified as an expert in this case that one time.
Yes.
You've never been qualified as an expert in any other courtroom ever, right?
No, I've not had to testify before.
Before August of 2007, that's when you did your work in this case, right?
Yes.
Before then, you'd been to 8 formal trainings or seminars, is that correct?
I'm thinking about that many.
If you had previously testified on August 5th that it was 8, would that be correct?
I cannot remember.
Okay. And August 5th, if you testified that it was 8, would that be correct?
If that's what I said.
Okay.
I cannot remember my testimony. I have not seen.
Do you want to see the transcript?
That would be fine, thank you.
Can you get that started? Pull up August 5th for me. I'm going to come back to it, okay? And you referenced the fact that your logs have been lost, is that correct?
Yes,
Logs are important for dog handlers, correct?
yes, they are.
They're important because the logs document all the work you've done with your animal, correct?
That is correct.
The logs is what verifies the dog can do, in fact, what you says it can say it can do, right?
Correct.
And your logs were lost back when?
I'm not sure when my older material, my older logs were kept in a storage room because there's a lot of paperwork involved. I had the other dogs. They were kept in a common area with another search and rescue's plane and helicopter information, and they no longer needed that information, so they had helpers come in and clean it out, and when they did, they unfortunately took all of my notebooks as well.
Okay, so bottom line is, all the logs you had are gone, unable to be reconstructed at this time, is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Judge, could we approach for a second?
Yes, sir. Feel free to stretch. Thank you.
Sorry.
Feel free to proceed, Mr. Colvin. Thank you.
If I could just check 1 second.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Judge, at this time, the defense would object to the qualifications of this individual as an expert witness. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The objection's overruled. I do find that the witness is qualified as an expert in man trailing and cadaver scent work with her dog Quincy, and she'll be allowed to express opinions in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. How many types of searches with Quincy have you done prior to coming out here to Colorado?
Many different, involving the trailing, area search, water, cadaver searches.
Have any idea as to how many times Quincy's been deployed, so to speak?
On actual cases, probably, cases such as this, probably a dozen that were where I was brought in by law enforcement, and they lasted more than just a few minutes.
Okay. Ms. Jones, let's talk about your trip to Colorado. When were you here in Grand Junction?
We were here in August, was it August 7th? No, August 3rd through the 5th, I believe it was.
August 3rd through the 5th of 2007?
Yes.
Did you, I assume you flew out here?
Yes, I did.
You brought your dog Quincy?
Yes.
How did you begin your work here once you got here?
We went to the police department, the sheriff's department, that's where we were supposed to meet, and we sat down with some of the officers there and had a short briefing.
Okay. During the course of the short briefing, what did they tell you about the case? Do you remember?
Mostly it was about Ms. Bergfeld and the circumstances surrounding her disappearance, a little bit about her life personally, and then what they believe led to her disappearance.
Okay. So did you get a lot of details, just a few details? What?
Very few details. We didn't need to know any, just we knew the police would take us to where we needed to go search.
Okay. In getting no details, is that one of the precautions you take to make sure that you're not influenced by the facts of the case?
Yes, we pretty much just need whatever information that we would need to do our job, like they have sent articles, how were they collected, what the sent articles are, if we will be going like in the water or, something like that so we can prepare clothes-wise, things of that nature.
Okay. Did you take any precautions in this case to make sure that your dog was not influenced by outside influences such as other people and so forth? Do you do that?
When we routinely work, we try to keep, people out of the way and keep people back behind us or something like that, unless it's something that the police need to see right then and there.
Okay. Did you take precautions in this case to make sure that you didn't influence what the dog did?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the police department was very good, or the sheriff's department was very good about that and kept back on their own. We didn't need to say anything to them about that. They were very aware to do that.
Okay. Each time you work a dog, do you call that a task or a run? What do you call that?
I particularly, in this case, called it a task. I broke it down to every different thing that I did with my dog.
Okay. How many tasks did you do over the course of 3 days with your dog, Quincy?
I think, I'm just going to look, I believe it was 37 tasks, I believe, the total, my total.
And you said you're just going to look. You just looked at something. Did that refresh your
Yes,
recollection?
yeah, I just have each task broken down, rather than the whole verbiage, just a little bit of what I did.
Okay. Is that something that you prepared recently, or is that just something that's just a summary of what you've done before?
It was a summary, and I had it on at our last court appearance.
Okay.
Judge, defense is requesting to approach the end of the document with using the request.
Okay, that's fine, thank you. I think we can make a copy of it as well if anybody
Yep, I
needs
believe
one.
you have a copy of it already, but certainly it goes on both sides.
Did the court offer to?
Yes, I think we have a copier right under here. I think it's still a copier, right? Okay, we hardly use it, so. Do you need a copy, Mr. Wade?
Judge, I don't. I mean, I think she's provided that before, so.
Oh, just one, thanks. set. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, now that we're squared away, Ms. Jones, may I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibits 474A through E, 474H, and 474K, L, M, P, Q, and R. Or get all of those.
I did, thanks.
Okay. And I've shown those to the defense.
Thank you.
Ms. Jones, would you look through those, please, and then I'll talk to you about them briefly.
Okay?
Have you had a chance to review those?
Yes.
Are those all, what are those? What are those photographs of?
They're of different areas. This is the impound.
Okay, I'd ask that you
Area.
not tell us, are they different areas that you searched with your dog?
Yes, they are.
Okay, are those accurate depictions of those areas?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd offer 474A through E, 474H, 474K, L, M, P, Q, and R.
Mr. Colvin.
No objection. We also do not object to them being published.
Okay, thank you. People's Exhibits 474A through and including E are admitted. People's 474H is admitted. And then People's 474K through and including 474R are all admitted.
With the exception of N and O, I believe, Judge.
Sorry. Maybe we need to say this again. I got
That last set, Your
confused a little bit
Honor.
when it skips here, so.
Certainly. 474K, L, M, P, Q, and R.
All right, so 474K through and including M, and then 474P through and including R. 474N is a Nancy and 474O are not admitted, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Those are pictures of something else. These pictures are going to show up in back of you, Ms. Jones, so we'll talk about those briefly, and if we could just publish the ones we just did. Okay, Ms. Jones, down in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see an exhibit number down there.
Yes.
So as we refer to these, if you could please refer to that exhibit number. So if, I believe we're looking now at Exhibit 474A, is that?
Correct.
And what is that a picture of?
That is a picture of the impound lot.
Okay, and is that the place where you guys started doing your tasks on the date you got here?
Yes, it is.
Okay, next, please. Another picture of the impound lot?
Yes, it
A
is.
little bit different perspective?
Yes.
Okay, and that's 474B?
B.
Okay, next, please. A close-up picture of one of the cars that's located in that impound lot, is that correct?
Yes. 474C.
Okay, it appears to be the driver's side of the car.
Correct.
Okay, next, please. Other side of that car, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
474D?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. A close-up, and then next, please. And then yet another perspective, kind of looking away. What are we seeing at this point? What part of the impound lot?
That is all of the part of the vehicles that were all in a line.
Okay, and is that 474E?
Yes, it is.
Same impound lot?
Yes.
Okay. Next, please. What is 474H? What is that?
At the time, it was called the Pepsi Building. That's what it was referred to.
Okay, and is that, and that's a picture of part of that Pepsi building?
Yes, it is.
Now, we've had some other pictures that have been admitted into evidence. Is that just a part of the building?
Yes, it is.
Are there other vehicles and so forth around inside that building?
Yes, there are.
Okay, next, please. Okay, 474K, what are we looking at there, Ms. Jones?
Bob Scott's RV, 474K exhibit.
Okay, and the next one, please.
That's another view from standing in front of the RV, Bob's RV.
Okay, and that's 474L, I believe?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next. Okay, now we're looking at, from a little bit different perspective, what are we looking at here?
That's the parking lot of what they called the Walker Building,
Okay, and what exhibit is that?
474M as in Mary.
Okay, thank you. Next, please. Okay, now we've jumped a considerable distance. What are we looking at now?
That's a dirt road going down towards the Gunnison River.
Is that Bridgeport Road?
Yes, that is Bridgeport Road.
Okay. 474P, I believe?
P as in Paul.
Okay, thank you. Next, please. 474Q,
Q.
and what are we looking at there?
That is at the end of Bridgeport Road, the parking area.
Okay, and that's as you remembered as well?
Yes.
Okay, and then lastly, 474R. What's that a picture of?
That's a picture of myself and my dog Quincy. We were in a boat, and he was pulling me into where people launch their canoes right at the end of Bridgeport Road,
Okay,
right at
so
the
that's
water's
in
edge.
the Gunnison River?
Yes, it is.
Okay, down towards the end of Bridgeport Road where we've already
Yes.
seen pictures of?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Watson. So when you got here, Ms. Jones, you got here on August 3rd. Did you immediately start to work?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And did you do some tasks that day?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Were all the tasks that you did that day in the location of the impound yard?
Yeah, that's where we started out. We
Okay.
went others.
So tell me about the tasks that you did with your dog Quincy in the impound yard.
At the impound yard, I looked at all the vehicles, and I started my dog on cadaver, and I had him start the vehicles from north to south, which easier for us to visualize would be left to right.
Okay. Now, when you start him on cadaver, what do you have to say to the dog to get the dog to search for cadaver?
Well, I put a bell on him. I do that just to help us to be able to follow him should it be a wooded area. But it's just another tool as a reminder that we're on cadaver. And I just have him say, I just say to him, find Fred. That is his command to find cadaver.
Okay. What did Quincy do?
We stood back away from all the vehicles. He worked independently. He went around each vehicle from left to right until he got to vehicle that was parked in lot number 29. Then he went and he indicated in that vehicle for cadaver.
Okay. And we saw pictures of a burned-out vehicle. Was that the vehicle you're talking about?
Yes, that would be that red vehicle.
Okay, you say he indicated. How does he indicate?
If I'm standing right there with him, he will lay down on the area. In this case, it was the burned-out vehicle, which very hard to access. So he did try to get in it. I was standing away from him, so he came to get me, jumped on me, took me to that vehicle, jumped on the vehicle, and then I pushed him to try, if he could, to find the exact area. He did crawl into the back seat. Well, there wasn't a seat, but he did crawl amongst that area the best that he could, and he turned around, looked at me, and he barked.
Okay, what's that an indication?
That's many indications of cadaver in that spot,
Okay, and very specifically in the back seat of...
in the back seat of that vehicle.
Okay. Is that a positive indication?
Yes.
Okay. A number of them, it sounds
Yes, a number of them. If there was cadaver, for example, on something flat, and I'm standing right there, he could lay down on it, and that, that's obviously, that's enough.
Okay. Did you do other searches that day in that area with Quincy?
Yes, right after that, brought him back out, and I decided we were going to check for, I referred to as the person of interest, but it was Mr. Jones' scent article,
Okay.
or the gauze, and I put the tracking harness on the dog to let him know that he was, going to be looking for a specific scent, not that he would be trailing from A to B, but looking for a specific scent. He started this time right to left. I started him on all the vehicles. He checked each vehicle until he got to 29. Then he gave a positive indication on the driver's side seat. Then after that, we continued on to all the other vehicles, and till we finished all of them, there were no other indications, and then we were done with that task.
You said he gave a positive indication then on the driver's seat area of
Yes.
the car in spot 29.
That is correct.
Ms. Watson, could we pull up, Your Honor, may we publish 474A again, please?
Any objection, Mr. Colvin? That's fine, you can proceed. Thank you.
Okay, we're looking at 474A. Could we blow it up a little bit? Maybe one more time. So, Ms. Jones, I would just ask you to look at the photograph. Are there numbers on the fence that indicate the spaces that the various cars are in?
Yes, at the time there were.
Okay, and so number 29 is the one at the far right-hand side of the photograph?
That is correct.
And that's the vehicle that we've been talking about up to this point?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. Did you do a third run there in the impound yard?
Yes, I did. I did for Miss Bergfeld's scent.
Okay. So you sent it to Paige's scent article, the scent pads?
Yes, I did.
And is that what you guys are using at this point, is the scent pads as opposed to the actual clothing?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you sent it to Paige Bergfeld, and what did you do with Quincy?
I started this time from north to south, or left to right, and he went through all of the vehicles, checking around each vehicle. When he got to vehicle number 29, he ID'd positive scent for Paige Bergfeld in that vehicle.
Okay. Was that all the tracks you did that day, or at least in that location?
In that location.
Okay. Did you go to another location at that point to do other tracks?
Yes, we did.
And when we had pictures up earlier, we talked about the Pepsi building. Is that where you went to next?
I think we went, yes, we did. We went to the Pepsi building.
Okay. And did you do a couple of different tracks with Quincy there in the Pepsi building?
Yes, we did.
All right. What was the first track you did there at the Pepsi building?
When I went inside, we did this independently, and Ms. Platts was outside. When I went in, there was yellow tape that was placed around a certain vehicle. I asked to have that removed because there were several little pieces of tape that were hanging and flapping, and I didn't want maybe that to be something playful for a dog maybe to go over to. I wanted to have all the vehicles be the same as much as possible.
As much as possible, based on the fact that most
Right.
of the other vehicles in the place were law enforcement vehicles.
Yes, but to the dog, a vehicle is a vehicle. It doesn't matter what it is.
Okay. So you had the tape removed?
Yes.
That was before you did the tracks?
Yes.
And what was the first track you did there at the Pepsi building?
I sent it for Ms. Bergfeld, and he checked all of the vehicles from one side to the other. When he got to when he got to a white pickup truck, he indicated very lightly, meaning normally he is very animated if there is a strong scent, but he indicated there was what I would read from him as a light presence of Ms. Bergfeld's scent in the door area and the mirror area, and no place else on the vehicle.
Which side?
This would be the driver's side?
So the driver's side door and the driver's side
Yes.
mirror area?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a strong scent?
No, it was not.
Would you characterize that as a positive indication?
Yes, I would. Normally, he would jump up repeatedly on the area of the scent, and this time he just went up on his hind legs and barely touched. And, when I asked him to show me again, to see it again, he just rised up just a little bit, again, not touching and jumping on or barking, So I read that as there is a scent there, however, it is a light scent.
Okay. Did you do another run there at the Pepsi building?
Yes, I did. I did it with Mr. Jones' scent, and we went the opposite direction. The dog checked all of the vehicles on his own. When he got to the white pickup truck, he indicated by jumping on the vehicle all four sides, and even when we opened up the door, got into the vehicle.
If that was Mr. Jones' vehicle, that would not surprise you that he indicated on the defendant's own vehicle?
Certainly. There's scent everywhere.
Okay, thank you. Did you go somewhere else to do other tasks?
Yes, we went to the front of Bob's RV, and I worked outside.
Okay, and we saw a picture of the front of Bob's RV.
Yes.
When you say you worked outside, where did you work?
Worked in the parking lot and a little bit up the road from the RV and in the intersection.
Okay, and did you do more than one task?
Yeah, I did. I counted each one of those as 3.
Okay, so 3 different tasks?
Yes.
All sent to the same person?
Yes, that was Paige Bergfeld.
Okay. And what kind of indications, if any, did you get in that area on those 3 tasks?
My dog is trained. I did not ask him to do any air scenting. I asked him to specifically scent the ground. Do you smell Paige or in this case, Timmy didn't know what it was, but do you smell Paige Bergfeld where I am asking you to check? And each one of those areas, he said, gave me the negative.
Okay, so you checked 3 areas there in front of Bob Scott?
Yes,
All 3 were no indication?
that is correct.
Okay. And I guess I forgot to ask you this, but how do you start the dog out when you're doing the scent articles versus, you talked about the cadaver and how you start the dog out, but how do you start the dog out for the scenting?
He is put in a harness. I give him the scent article, and I say, who is it? Find him.
Okay. And no indication out?
No indication.
Okay. Did you guys then go to another location that was fairly close to the Bob Scott building, but down the road?
Yes, we did.
Where did you go?
We went down to, I believe that's the Walker, I think that's called the Walker Building.
Okay. And did you do some tasks in that area as well?
Yes, I did for Paige Bergfeld.
Okay.
I sent it him.
Where did you start? You know, we saw a picture, and I guess, let me put that up if we can. Could we, Your Honor, could we publish People's 474M?
Any objection, Mr. Colvin?
No objection, I'm
That's
sorry.
fine, no worries. I had to check the list, so thanks.
So we're looking at People's 474M. Is that the parking lot that you were talking about there at the Walker Building?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And with regard to that picture, where on that picture did you start the track of your dog?
I actually started, if you turn around and you face the Walker Building, it would be on the left side. So I started way out of the way, and I gave the scent to my dog, and I asked him to find it. Well, who is it? Find him. And he starts searching for the scent. He checked many areas until he got to the parking lot, and then he went to in between two spaces there and gave me an indication that he had Miss Bergfeld's scent.
Okay. Did you later find out what, if anything, had been located in that spot or close to that spot?
Yes, afterwards I found out that her car was parked in the parking lot there, in the parking space.
That's where her car had been found burning?
Yes.
Or burned at that point?
Yes.
Okay. So indicated positively to Paige right there?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do other tasks in that same area?
I tried to see if her scent was anywhere else leaving the area, and it wasn't. It stayed right there.
Okay, so you couldn't find any other
No,
locations?
no
just
other.
that one location?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you do other tasks in that area then?
Checking, I thought that was the last that I did of the night. I may have done check cadaver there, but I thought that was the last one. I could refer to my notes
Would it
quickly.
refresh your recollection?
Yes, it
Refer to
would.
And
Yes,
those the
please.
same notes that you just made
That
copies
is
of for the
correct.
defense? Okay.
Okay, also at the, we checked for Mr. Jones' scent.
Okay, so you did another run checking this time?
Yes, I, for some reason, was thinking that was the next day. I actually, on my report, I was using a different GPS, and I went by that, and it had the wrong dates on it and the wrong times, so on my report, it actually still, it has me ending on this, that being my last one.
Okay.
So-
But you did these tasks and these runs over the course of 3 days?
Yes, I
August 3rd,
did.
4th and 5th?
Right.
Okay. So did you do another task in this area?
Yes, I did. I did for Mr. Jones.
Okay, sent it to the defendant's brown shorts, I think, originally?
Yes, it is, the brown shorts, the gauze.
And what did you have your dog do?
I had him trail. I started again this near the road where you enter, and it comes around to this area here. I started him there. He took immediate trail. He didn't have to search for it. He took an immediate trail right to the same spot as Ms. Bergfeld. Then he kept on going and continued his trail.
Okay. Talk about the rest of the continuation of the trail then. Where did he go?
It went across the parking lot to the road.
And Ms.
we-
Jones, should be a pointer there.
Okay?
Can you see if,
Yes.
can you show us, you said the dog came over and indicated in the same area that
Yes.
Paige's car had been?
Yep, there was a strong indication there.
Okay, and then what?
The trail continued across the street and then right down the edge of the road until we got to this building here.
And is that building Bob Scott RV?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What happened when you got to that building? What
The
did
dog
do?
took a left and went right to the front door of that building and jumped on the door, meaning the person went inside the building. It was locked, so we couldn't get in.
So that's all a positive indication, certainly, that the dog was on a trail and
Yes, it
followed that
is.
trail?
Yes, it is.
Followed the trail from this location down to Bob Scott RV?
Yes,
Went to the front door?
jumped on the door.
Okay. Now, did you duplicate that same run again later on?
Yes, it is. We thought that the GPS was not working, so we wanted to make sure that we had it GPSed. So I went back up. I did the same thing this time. There were more officers also there to witness this. and they followed me, and we did the exact same thing. The dog duplicated it exactly.
Okay, now you say there are other officers there. What are the other officers doing while you're doing this?
When I started, they had their vehicles, they stayed inside their vehicles, and they were parked off to the side.
Okay. And again, you made another run in the same area,
Yes, I did.
same scenting to the defendant?
When I duplicated it, yes.
Okay. And did you get the same result?
The exact same results, right to the door, jumping up on the door.
Okay. Now, was there a time when you were able to get into Bob Scott RV?
Yes, the police made some telephone calls, and they wanted us to check inside.
Okay. Did you check inside?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what did you check inside? What did you have your dog do inside?
I gave my dog the scent article of Miss Bergfeld, and I had him check the entire inside and upstairs for Miss Bergfeld, including every nook and cranny and, you know, any place that he could get into.
And was there any indication inside on Paige's scent?
Negative.
Okay. Now, you did one other search, I believe, in the Walker area, and you started to describe it. What other search did
Yes.
you do there in the Walker?
The last one that I did in the Walker area was I checked for cadaver, and at that point, I checked along here and down into all of the grassy areas, and it actually comes around, to the side. There was probably an acre and a half or so that we checked for
Okay.
cadaver.
And you were looking for cadaver at that point?
Yes, sir.
And was there any positive indication during the course of that run?
No, there was not.
No positive indication where Paige's vehicle had been burned?
No.
Do you want to check your notes?
Yeah, well, I would say no, not at that time. We did not check Paige's vehicle again, I should say, there. The only thing that we checked was this area here. I never did go back to to that area there,
Okay.
which is where her vehicle was.
Okay. So there was never a positive indication of cadaver in that area?
No.
Okay. Did you do another search in a different area? Did you guys go to Highway 50 and do a search?
Yes, yeah, that was, I believe that would be a different date, but continuing, yes. We started where some articles of Miss Bergfeld had been found laying on the side of the road.
Okay. And I think your report said mile marker 43.7 or so?
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Did you scent your animal at that point, and did Quincy do something at that point?
Yes, we sent it in that area for Miss Bergfeld, and we started trailing out of town. That would have been, I believe it was like Highway 50.
What direction on Highway 50 did Quincy go?
Trying to think if what it was. I know it was away from Grand Junction. I can't remember whether it was north or south or east or west.
Yeah, and there's lots of debate about which way the road goes, but headed towards Delta.
Yes,
Does that sound right?
yes, I remember them saying we were headed that way.
Okay, at that point, did you start to do a different kind of a trailing?
We were trailing and following Miss Bergfeld's scent down the highway.
Okay. And did you go all the way down the highway, or did you
No.
do something different?
Due to how many miles this could be, we didn't know. We decided the best thing to do would be to put the dog into the vehicle, drive until we got to like another intersection, stop before the intersection to see if the trail continued or if it turned off on the intersection. And that's jump trailing. Some call it leapfrogging, but it's, jump trailing. That saves the dog and the person.
Okay. Did you do that on down Highway 50?
Yes, we did.
And did you continue to get positive indication of Paige's scent down Highway 50?
Yes, we did.
Did there come a point when you turned, when the dog turned off of Highway 50?
Yes, we happened to stop one particular time. I got out to do the usual, gave the dog the scent article, who is it, find him. The dog continued straight. As soon as he got to a road, he took a right. And I found out that that was Bridgeport Road.
Okay. Did you trail down Bridgeport Road at that point?
Yes, I did quite a bit on foot, and then a few times I did get in the vehicle because, I didn't know how long it was going to be.
As you're trailing in on Bridgeport Road, again, is Quincy scented on Page's?
This whole time, each time, Paige Bergfeld, who is it, find him for that scent article.
Where did the dog go?
He went right to the end, as far as we could go.
Okay, and we saw a picture of a railroad trestle there and so
Yes.
forth. Where did he go at that end?
He went underneath the railroad trestle, and there's a lot of really tall grass, some kind of gullies, right to the edge. There were some logs, some white logs that are driftwood type logs, or water had been added a lot. There was kind of a mess of logs there, intertwined,
Okay,
right at the water's edge.
but is there a trail down underneath the
Yes,
railroad
there's a small trail.
Okay. And was that the end of the trail that Quincy found for Page?
Yes, he went as far as he could, went to the water, went into the water, came back out, stopped, and that was as far as he could go.
Okay. Did you do it, was there any indication that Page the scent of Page had left the area?
It just stopped there.
Okay.
I tried to get an exit trail out, and he just went back to that one spot and wouldn't leave it.
Okay. In that same area then, did you do some other searches?
Yes, we came back out from the river area. By then it was getting dark, and the officers knew about, that there could be snakes and things like that. They would have preferred not to go back down in. So I started in the parking area, and I used Mr. Jones' scent. Mr. Jones' scent was there. The dog took the scent and started to leave, going back down Bridgeport Road,
Okay.
heading away.
And was that one of the runs that was then terminated due to it being too dark?
Yes.
Okay. Did you guys come back to town? What other runs did you do at that point? Do you remember?
As we were leaving, we stopped the vehicle right short of Bridgeport Road. I wanted to check to see if Ms. Bergfeld's scent could be there, even though the dog said there was no exit trail. I tried just before Bridgeport Road, gave him the scent article, and we were facing like we were leaving. He turned around and started heading back in,
Okay.
but not leaving.
So no indication that there's a live scent of Page leaving?
Yeah, there was no exit trail for her, live scent exit trail.
Okay. Did you go to another area at that point and do some searches?
Yes, we actually came out of Bridgeport Road, and we took a right, and we went still away, probably towards Delta, went a ways down the road there, checked for Ms. Bergfeld's live scent, and I got nothing.
Okay. Beyond that, then, did you come back into town and do some searches?
Yes.
Or a search, at least?
Yeah, well, came back and taken to just kind of like an intersection of streets, obviously didn't mean anything to me, I don't know where I am, and they asked if I would check for Mr. Jones' scent. I scented the dog at an intersection, and I ended up at I think it's Westgate Motel, where we ended up going around the motel upstairs, and the dog indicated on a couple of doors that were
Okay.
there. And then we left, and we started heading away, and I was stopped, and I said, you know, we're not tired, we can continue if we want, and the officer said, no, I know right where we're heading back to, you're okay. So I stopped.
So you terminated that search at
Yes,
that
we
point?
did.
Okay. Did you do some more searches the next day?
Let's see, yes, we did.
Did you do some more searching down at the end of Bridgeport Road where
Yes.
you had been the previous day?
Yes, one of the things that we did was I went beyond Bridgeport Road, they wanted to put us into a boat and just come down the river to see if possibly there might be cadaver in the river or anything of that nature. I scented the dog for Paige Bergfeld scent when we first left. As we came down the river, around the corner, around the bend, my dog jumped right off the boat and started hauling the boat. They turned the motor off and let the dog just haul all three of us. He went right back, pulled us all three right back into the little cove, right to the spot where the logs were, got out, and, you know, stayed right there for her live scent.
Okay. So the dog jumped out of the boat and swam to the area that the previous day you had terminated
Yes.
for Paige's live scent?
Yes,
Okay. And that was on Paige's scent?
yes.
Okay. Did you do some other searching in that area?
Yes, I also checked for cadaver in that area, and the dog indicated cadaver in the area of where those logs were.
Okay. Positive indication to cadaver?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did the dog go into the water or have to go into the water?
He went into the water, came back, and kept going to that area right where the logs were.
Did you do some other work in that area with Quincy?
Yeah, may I look at the notes on
Would it
that
refresh your
particular? Yes, it
recollection?
would, it really would.
I think we're up to task 26, if that will help
Perfect,
you.
thank you. Thank you. Yes, at that point, we did the Mr. Jones scent again, and...
Mountaineer Highway 50?
Yes.
Okay.
And Mr. Jones scent came out of near the intersection, went across the intersection and headed back towards town,
Towards Grand Junction?
towards Grand Junction.
Okay. Did you do some further work right in that same area using other
Yes.
scents?
Yeah, I checked for Paige Bergfeld again, and I got nothing for her as far as leaving it all, wanted to go just back in. I checked across the street, I got nothing, which would be heading back into Grand Junction, and we got into the vehicle and continued down Highway 50 towards Grand Junction. We did not get a positive in any of the places that we stopped.
So coming back to Grand Junction, Paige's live scent, the dog was not indicating
Right,
that.
where we stopped. There was one place that the officers stopped in. They asked me to check an area. I did. I checked for Paige Bergfeld's scent. The dog went to one specific spot, indicated on one spot her scent, but not going down the road. And I said something of Paige Bergfeld's must have been here, and then they said yes.
I think it was her statement.
The objection sustained. The jury should disregard the answer.
That something of Paige Bergfeld's had to have been there? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
the dog said that there was something there. He gave a positive on one particular piece, one particular area, and after we finished that, the police officer told me that was
Okay,
where...
and that part you can't talk about.
Excuse me, okay.
Here's the judge that asked the jury to instruct in disregard.
The objection sustained. The jury should disregard.
And that Chad, when the dog hit positively on Page's scent, was that close to Canna Creek Road?
Yes, it was.
Did you go further then on down Highway 50?
Yes, we did.
And negative results in the rest of down Highway 50 coming into
That is correct.
on Page's scent?
Yes.
Did you do some other scent work for Page in that general area of Whitewater and so forth?
Live scent in 2 places along the, I believe it's the Gunnison River, for Page's live scent. And when I did, Quincy gave a positive indication and wanted to swim upstream. When we got to the second place, it was a very light indication. He still wanted to go upstream.
So are these places that are further and further downstream?
Yes, they are. That is correct.
The first one was an area right there at Whitewater as the highway goes on Highway 141?
Yes.
Okay. And that, you said that was a positive indication?
Yes.
that Quincy wanted to swim up?
Yeah, wanted to go upstream, yes.
Okay, upstream would have been left and towards?
Yes,
Bridgeport
left
Road.
going back up towards Bridgeport,
Okay.
the end of Bridgeport.
And then you went further down the Gunnison River to a place kind of called the Roller Dam or Roller Dam area?
Yes,
Again, scented to Page?
yes. That was light, very light scent. At that point, because I wanted to make sure that we had something negative, just so I could show the officers that not at every piece of water is the dog going to give a positive, I asked if they could take me to a body of water that there would be no way that Miss Bergfeld's scent could be there. So they took me to another river that runs into it, but is in no way connected.
So they took you to the Colorado River at a place called Corn Lake, does that sound
Yes,
right?
that is correct.
Okay, and did you scent for Page at that point?
Yes, I did.
And what kind of an indication did you?
The dog checked the area, checked the water, came back negative.
Okay. And was that all the runs that you did while you were here in August of 2000?
Yes.
Your Honor, I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Colvin?
Did I actually have a thing I could wrap up in 3 minutes?
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Then I'll
You
have
can
more
proceed.
after that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thought I was getting away light.
So previously when we were talking, you said that you couldn't remember what you testified to before. You remember that about the trainings?
Yes.
And now you have testified repeatedly, right? In this case.
Yes.
And you know that we record everything in here, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you know that the purpose of recording everything is so we can make transcripts, right?
That is correct.
So everything you've said before is written down. Did
Yes.
you know that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can I approach the witness, too?
Yes, you can, thank you.
Have you ever seen a transcript? I don't know if you
No,
ever
I have never have.
All right. Well, let me show you this. I'm showing her the transcript for August 5th. So, see how that says reporter's transcript?
Yes.
Whoop.
Mr. Colvin, can I get a page reference by any chance?
Right now, we're on the cover page.
Okay.
I don't know that it's numbered. Maybe it's not. Yeah, it's not numbered, but it's the very...
This microphone a little bit just behind her head. Thank you so much.
And that's, says the date all this happened was August 5th, right?
Yes.
And it says all the lawyers in the room are
Yes.
still here, right? Mm-hmm. It says your name on it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now I'm going to go to page 117, okay?
Certainly.
And well, 118, counsel. And you see how it says what the questions are and then what the answers are?
Sure.
Okay. And you were asked by Mr. Waite, and before August of 2007, can you kind of give us an idea before then how many trainings you had been to? You see how that was asked?
Okay, could you point it out, which one's?
Green.
Okay.
See it?
Yes.
And that's what you were asked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you answer?
Probably 8.
at that point, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So would you agree with me, you have testified previously that you did about 8 trainings before this, right?
Well, do you mean that from the time I started my dog to that particular case? I'm not sure what that's in reference to, because, I mean, I train there's always trainings every, so I don't mean to be semantics, but,
Well, ma'am, before, you were asked by Mr. Wade how many trainings you've been to, and you said 8. Before that, you were asked how many trainings, how many seminars have you been to over the last 22 years, right? At that time, you went on to say that you'd been to about 50, and then I honestly don't have any idea what you were talking about. You just said 8, right?
I think it was just different, like how many formal trainings, how many like seminars, how many conferences. Point.
Okay, one more question and I'm done.
Sure.
You said it's semantics. You realize the only thing I've asked you to do is agree with your own words, right?
Right.
And to you, that's semantics.
Well, no, I meant the question,
Wait, time out.
today's
Said-
question.
I said I had one more question.
Certainly.
I will withdraw that last question, I'll be done. For now, I have more.
All right, so we're finished with cross before the lunch recess, and we'll resume at 1 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember all the instructions for recesses. We'll see you back at 1 o'clock, please. Please rise for our jury. Thank you. Our jury's left the courtroom. If you can just be back at 1 o'clock for us, please, to resume your testimony. Anything for the record, Mr. Rubenstein?
Judge, I'll just let the court know we are having some witness issues. Dr. Havlick is leaving tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., as is Ms. Jones, and so we're going to be asking to put Dr. Havlick on at 1 o'clock. We have another witness that's sticking around, that's supposed to leave this afternoon. We're going to try to see if we can stick around one more night, but I know we're supposed to finish early, and I'm worried about how.
Thank you. Anything else?
The defense won't object to them putting a witness on out of order. We're fine with delaying our cross. Facilitate the witness's calendar.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're in recess until 1 o'clock, please. Thanks.